Blue Line Moving, tell me about the company, what you guys are doing.
So local and long distance moving. I used to work for this company as a mover over 20 years ago. I retired from the Army and I worked out a deal to buy it from the old owner that I used to work for, which is really cool. He was a police officer, hence Blue Line Moving, as in the thin blue line. But I've taken it a step further where I use the money that people spend on their moves. Some of that money goes to me cleaning up America. So I have the Great American Cleanup where I go to border towns and I pick up trash on every 9/11 and we raise money and donate it to the Sheriff's Department for the town in which I clean up.
You go to the border, so you go every year.
Yes.
What has your experience been so far doing that?
It's been life-changing. You know, you're seeing people at their worst moment. I mean, crossing over a river just to get to this country. It tells you how great our country is, that people are willing to risk their lives, their children's lives, to make that trek through the Darien Gap and then cross over the Rio Grande. It's humbling to see people coming and sacrificing like that for their family to come to this country. And being a service member and fighting for this country, I really know what it's about. You know what I mean? It means something to me. And you know, I don't like what I'm seeing down there. I wish there was another way to do it, but they are human beings at the same time, right? So when you hear their stories and you actually talk to them and you ask them, why are you coming here? And they tell you that the reason they're coming here is because they can't make any money to support their family in the countries that they're coming from. Their children are starving, and it just, you know, I'm a father of 4, and when you see little children suffering like that, it just breaks my heart, and I feel like, you know, I'm not helping them, I'm helping the town in which they're coming through, because they're overrun, you know? They're overrun. There's clothes everywhere, there's trash everywhere, there's wild animals, dogs that are left behind when they cross the border. All the border towns have wild dogs all over the place. It's really an emergency, and I felt like I could help out. I want to continue to serve, so that's what I do. I go on every 9/11 and I pick up trash for 3 days.
Describe to us the kinds of things you're finding when you go to do these cleanups.
Yeah, so we're finding lots of clothes, obviously. So when they cross the Rio, they usually have a black garbage bag with dry clothes in it. So when they come across the Rio, obviously they're soaking wet. They get into the United States, they take their wet clothes off and they leave it right there on the shore, and then they put their dry clothes on, throw the garbage bag on the ground, and then they're searching for Border Patrol. So you find a lot of clothes and shoes and book bags, but what you find a lot of is IDs. I've found thousands of IDs from all over the world. So people are getting rid of their IDs as soon as they get into the United States. And I ask them, why do you get rid of your ID? And they say, well, I need to be from wherever they will keep me here in the United States. So if I'm from Guatemala, they don't know if I'm from Venezuela or Guatemala or Nicaragua. If I'm more likely to stay in this country if I'm from Venezuela, well, then I'm from Venezuela.
What's an ID that you found the farthest away from, like country-wise?
I've found a Chinese ID before. I found Russian paperwork. So that's pretty far. I mean, but I've talked to people from Africa, from all over the world, from Yemen one time, which is frightening. I mean, we have a lot of countries that hate our guts coming here across our southern border, it's wide open. I've been there 10 times in the last 2 years, and I'm just a regular civilian, blue collar guy. It's eye-opening, and for the fighting I did for this country, to see where it's at, it's just, I had to do something. And I felt like, what's the easiest thing I can do? Pick up garbage. And that's what I do.
You mentioned before that you saw a Chinese flag flying outside of a business down there. So describe to us kind of, I feel like China is something that we don't really think about when we think about the southern border. So talk to us about that threat.
I broke my heart. I mean, I love this country. I mean, obviously you see it, right? I've served for this country. I retired from the Army. To see a Chinese flag being flown in our country, I could not believe it. That I was staring at that red and yellow flag. I don't know, I felt angry. I felt like we're not doing enough in this country to love it. Like, there should be an American flag flying there, right? They had an American flag that was torn to shreds, tied around the pole. Like, and this brand new bright red Chinese flag flying there, right on the border. What do you think Chinese nationals that are crossing illegally into this country, the first things, or one of the first things they see is a Chinese flag flying there? Like, are you trying to help these people? Like, your mind starts to wonder, what exactly is going on here?